Welcome back, one and all, to Dragon Ball Dissection December, the Dragon Ball Dissection month-long marathon. In December, in case you missed that part. Jumping back into where we left off last week, Gohan stands ready to fight Dabra on the third level of Bobby D's ship. Dabra's cutting of the line causes Vegeta to point out that Bobby D must be getting desperate to send out his best fighter already. But to illustrate just how little interest Toriyama has in writing Gohan now that he's dumped him as the main character, he decides that, we don't really need to see it, do we? Who cares if Gohan gets to fight someone as strong as Cell? Boring. Goku and Vegeta have had their turns, that's all anybody cares about. Even Vegeta teases Gohan for being weaker than they are. Instead, we cut back to the tournament. All jokes aside, though, I love this. I don't know if I can think of any other instance where Dragon Ball has had two separate plots running parallel with each other. Sure, there have been split perspectives, such as the various characters' goals on Namek or training to beat Piccolo, but they all tie into the same main plot line. Toriyama doesn't often get bogged down in intertwining narratives, preferring to keep his story as streamlined as possible. Granted, this isn't exactly massive amounts of cross-cutting, chosen at the perfect time to highlight parallel characterizations or symbolism. Dragon Ball simply cuts away for 3 chapters, resolves this dangling thread, and then returns to the main story. If anything, it feels like wiping the slate clean, having a little bit of fun before the location is soon brought back in a much more horrific way. Here, Toriyama dives back into pure comedy, and you can tell he's having a blast. He has said that Mr. Satan might be his favorite character, and from these 3 chapters, for the first time it becomes easy to see why, as he blusters his way through this tournament. Up until this point, he's been a rather minor player, disappearing for links at a time. Now he gets to take center stage. And it's another reason why I can't be as hard on the abandonment of the tournament plot as I am on the Great Saiyaman idea. It may have been demoted to a subplot, but at least its concepts aren't entirely discarded. I don't think I would have ever forgiven Toriyama had he failed to pay off Goten and Trunks' 2 kids in a trench coat. And getting to see a reformed number 18 on a quest for money is an exciting novelty that demonstrates precisely how the character can function now that she's no longer a villain. But since we are in the final chapter that hit the streets in 1993, it would be a shame to let the year pass us by without stepping on the runway for the 1993 Dragon Ball Fashion Extravaganza! Yes, it's back by popular demand. Perhaps a bit later than some people were hoping for, but I have my reasons. Since a lot of characters changed clothes early on, I wanted to wait until everyone was more or less settled in. Also, it seemed appropriate to wait until the first color chapter. Amazingly, this is the very first one in this entire storyline. Can you believe this is the first installment with color pages since chapter 411, 10 months earlier? In fact, there are only 5 chapters with color pages in this entire 2-year spanning arc. Coming out of this 7-year gap after Cell, it's not surprising that there are many new character designs. I don't plan on covering the fashion of every single character, however, there are enough that I'm going to spread this throughout the episode, rather than try to do it all at once. Unfortunately, we don't have the convenient, luxurious vanity spread we were able to draw from in 1991. In fact, a lot of the material we do have available to us is starting to look a little bit rough around the edges. Everyone's wearing very sharp ankles this year, but that doesn't mean anyone is skimping on the fashion. Son Goku is all about the revival look, literally. He's showing off the same style of outfit he wore in the last arc. Are they the same magical heaven clothes he received immediately after dying? Who knows? But for 1993, Son Kun is all about accessorizing. That halo is a bit of a flashback to 1989, but it's a welcome one. Goku set the trend for accessorizing in his younger days, only to adopt far more minimalist wardrobes as an adult. A halo is just the eye-catching piece that brings the whole outfit together, really. Jumping ahead to perhaps my favorite look for the day, we have Bluma. Proving that exiting your 30s is the perfect time to slay, she nails it on every aesthetic level, putting together an ensemble that is both motherly and flirty. Serving as the base layer is this figure-flattering mini dress. Its most striking feature is its low-cut back. Or at least it is until Toriyama starts forgetting to draw it that way. It not only seems like the perfect comfort choice for a hot day on a southern island, Her new short hairstyle ensures that detail isn't missed. The last time Bluma opted for such a short hairstyle, I wasn't terribly enamored by it, but she really pulls it off here with a much more relaxed part, allowing her gorgeous bangs to be appreciated. Borrowing from the always coveted Daphne Blake wardrobe staples, Bluma adds a scarf to this outfit, which really breaks up the solid colored dress. All of that on its own would come together as a fantastic outfit choice, but what really makes me giddy about it is her footwear. My own style sees me often pairing dresses with more casual shoes or even combat boots, so I love that Bluma tops off this extremely chic look with sneakers and rolled up socks. I love it, I want this outfit. Before we conclude our first segment, let's go through a couple more quick looks. Piccolo? Yeah, he's the same. I hate how bulky and sharp his stupid head has gotten though. Skinny head Piccolo is best Piccolo. I've already gone into detail about Kuririn's hair, so let's just mention his outfit. It's practical. It's comfortable. It's a good choice for movement and flexibility, at least until you get turned to stone. Major fashion faux pas. You can't strut the runway in concrete. Ignoring that, though, it's just not very aesthetically pleasing, nor does it stand out in any way. It's a t-shirt and sweatpants. If you're wearing a crop top and letting the sweatpants ride low on your hips, you can make it look cute, maybe get a frappuccino in hand. But in this case, it looks like the tournament fell on laundry day. This is Dad working in the backyard, not Dad kicking butt in front of thousands of people. Sorry, Kuririn, but I've seen you do better. And so concludes the first segment of the 1993 Dragon Ball Fashion Extravaganza. We now return to the tournament, already in progress. An hour having now elapsed since Goku and the others abandoned the competition, the officials suggest disqualifying them, but don't know what to do with only 5 remaining participants. Mr. Satan disparages the quitters as cowards and praises the other 4 who stuck around. Then he has a flash of brilliance, and without consulting anyone, he steps out and announces the 5 remaining competitors should engage in a Battle Royale. One of the officials begins to question it, only to hush up when Mr. Satan threatens to leave. Only after the announcer delivers the news to the audience does the same official clarify his trepidation. Since, hey, Mr. Satan is the champion, that probably means that all the other competitors are going to team up against him. Whoops. Well, in any other scenario, that might have been true, as we see one of the remaining guys, Killa, try to make just such a pact with Mighty Mask. But in this instance, he's the only one who seems all that concerned. Number 18, Trunks and Goten aren't at all threatened by him, and Jewel is too focused on flirting with number 18. As soon as the fight begins, Mighty Mask disposes of Killa, and number 18 ejects the pouty incel. At this point, Mr. Satan's spirits rise. He mistakenly believes the 2 losers were the ones to be worried about, and he begins fantasizing how precisely he's going to fell Mighty Mask and number 18. But before he can complete his ridiculous rolling attack, Mighty Mask and number 18 are already going at it, completely oblivious to him. And it must be a complete nightmare for Mr. Satan, battling his 2 darkest outcomes at the same time. That he will lose, and that no one is paying attention to him. But it's only because of the latter that he hasn't suffered the former. Mighty Mask is having difficulty, what with being 2 independent people attempting to move in concert. Number 18 has no compulsion against beating a misshapen person with a long torso and tiny arms who is missing both of his boots. Backed into a corner, a mid-air corner, Trunks and Goten decide they need to go Super Saiyan to stand up to her, hoping their disguise will hide it. Unfortunately, it doesn't hide it quite enough, and she figures out who's in there. But then she freaks out at the level of ki blast they fire at her and decides she has to end this quickly by launching a Kienzan at them. Wow, number 18, that sure was a smart idea to anticipate they'd fly in opposite directions so that your Kienzan would cut their costume in half rather than murder them. Plan. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't get any money if I killed them, would I? That was lucky. Revealed as 2 people, Mighty Mask is disqualified and the boys fly off in embarrassment. To celebrate her victory over Mighty Mask, why don't we look at number 18 next on our fashion parade? Oh, actually, we're in 1994 now, so I guess I need to change graphics. Number 18 really hasn't strayed too far from her latter Cell Arc outfit, mostly black and white, with jeans. The ensemble is a bit simplified this time, no gloves, less jewelry. Both colors are incorporated into the shirt rather than requiring a vest. I prefer this one ever so slightly, but nothing matches her red ribbon denim look in my eyes. I feel like she has the opposite problem as her husband. It's casual, but she's bringing style over function. I would never recommend anyone compete in martial arts while wearing jeans. They're just too restrictive. Even with her all-denim outfit, she was wearing leggings. Much easier to kick. And on closer inspection, the shirt she's wearing here is just the shirt she wore at her introduction, minus the jean jacket. Ah, fun with layers. That's a nice segue. Bear with my insanity on this one, but Son Gohan sparks happy memories of Marty McFly. And there's a reason for that, beyond simply me getting to reference Back to the Future yet again! See, something that has fascinated me since I was a child is how versatile Marty's wardrobe is. It instilled in me a love of layers and taught me how multiple distinct looks can be created out of the same outfit. From the jean jacket to the down vest, to button up with suspenders, future jacket, leather jacket, or just t-shirt. All of these looks are made from the same base outfit, and that is what Gohan's Great Saiyaman costume has become. Helmet, bandana, no cape, and we're going to see this outfit continue to wear itself down, to losing a glove and eventually reduced to a tattered black bodysuit. But unfortunately, this does not measure up to what I will now dub the McFly effect. Honestly, I think the less of the Great Saiyaman outfit there is, the uglier it gets, and I'm someone who really likes its initial configuration far more than I think I was intended to. I suppose it's because it's supposed to be gaudy, and it's just gaudy enough to circle back around to fun. Start stripping off the more flamboyant pieces and it just becomes... ugh. Gohan's frequent hair twin Yamcha is rocking the retired martial artist lifestyle in his Miami Vice fashion suit, with t-shirt. Perhaps the 80s are over, but not in the desert or wherever the hell he lives nowadays. And later on he demonstrates he can make layers work to McFly's satisfaction, as his black long-sleeved shirt is a pretty stylish look all on its own. What stands out more to me though is Yamcha's hair. Thankfully he's gotten rid of that hideous Stan Fink from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind coif, but this isn't actually too much better. It's basically his first short hairstyle, which rarely looked good unless he was wearing a headband. Like his Cell hair, this can work from certain angles, and the probability of it doing so is better than either of those other styles. On occasion though, yuck. Overall, I'd still call this Yamcha an improvement. And now, back to the fighting. Pairing number 18 with Mr. Satan is a beautiful stroke of genius. Neither is living the honorable martial arts lifestyle that the Muten Roshi used to extol. These two aren't committed to pushing their limits and always finding someone stronger. He is all about his reputation, she is all about money. And that means this is going to result in a very different, very entertaining fight. It's certainly the best characterization either of these two somewhat neglected characters has gotten up to this point. Number 18 was introduced as an Ice Queen villain and hasn't really been seen that much since Cell absorbed her. Mr. Satan entered the story as a somewhat one-note gag that ran its course, and is now getting the opportunity to expand. We've seen him go against characters who can and will easily kick his butt. We've seen him play Spin Doctor to get himself out of jams. This is a different scenario though. She can easily kick his butt, and demonstrates so by immediately putting him into a headlock, but instead, she parlays. She's smart enough to know his priorities, and so offers to let him win. But for twice the prize money. If he refuses to agree, then she shreds his reputation faster than it'll take for his boob eyes to get a reduction. Either way, she wins. It's an offer he can't refuse. The Budokai really has sold its soul, now it's flat out fixing matches. What a shame. But it's some great comedy. Number 18 has to sell flinging herself off of Mr. Satan as if he actually did anything. Mr. Satan then gets a little too into the part. There's his ridiculously named finishing move, the Satan Miracle Special Ultra Super Megaton Punch, a name even he can't keep straight. And really, what kind of real fighter would name attacks like that? There's the second form Cell I'm talking with a fist in my face gag, which I love, which leads into the several second delay before she throws herself out of bounds. It's telegraphed to ridiculous degrees that no sane person would ever believe, but that's what makes it so fun. I have to wonder if Toriyama wished at this point he was writing a series like this instead of the one he was actually doing. And of course the piece de resistance is number 18 interrupting Mr. Satan's victory strut by reminding him she'll swing by tomorrow to pick up the giant novelty check, and if it's not there, she'll kill him. The final character I want to highlight in the 1994 Dragon Ball Fashion Extravaganza is none other than the Saiyajin no Oji, Vegeta. Now, Vegeta is the Dragon team's exotic dancer because his entire fashion trajectory throughout his tenure on the series has been all about slowly taking it off. 1989's Vegeta is so ornate, his style so complex. Little by little, that has chipped away. Losing the Scouter, losing the tail, most of his armor, the Cell arc saw an attempt at adding more variety with a high-neck bodysuit, and eventually coming around to his inconsistent dalliances with colored-tipped boots. Well, I think it's safe to say the boots are here to stay, but everything else has been stripped down for this new Vegeta. He's back to his relaxed collar look and even his sleeves are gone, resulting in a much more casual-looking Vegeta. But not too casual as he retains his gloves. Like Bluma's juxtaposition of sneakers and dress, we see this impulse for mixing casual and formal runs in the family. With his armor finally removed for good, this is a mostly single-colored Vegeta. Certainly I prefer his armor breaking up what's otherwise a big blob of ink, but it is perhaps his most radical shift in style. It's not my preferred Vegeta look, but its uniqueness makes it stand out enough for me to at least place it above his late Frieza arc armor, which I've never been a big fan of. As Vegeta's style shifts in a much more linear path than most other characters, it's long been bandied about by fans that Vegeta's gradual reduction in armor symbolizes his gradual trajectory from evil to good. Over time, he sheds his ties to his barbaric culture and loyalty to Frieza as he becomes more and more comfortable on Earth. I doubt it was intentional, but it works. I see no problem with that theory. And no, I don't think Vegeta donning armor in modern Dragon Ball works invalidates that. It doesn't mean he can never wear it again. I think it's emblematic of modern Dragon Ball's over-reliance on nostalgia and iconography, but that's a conversation for another day. Or year. Something. Most likely, Vegeta can't wear his armor in the tournament, just as Gohan can't wear his helmet. Even outside of the tournament, we never see Vegeta in Dragon Ball wearing armor after the Cell arc, but it's not as if he's never worn casual clothes before. Even the Cell arc, from which that so iconic it can never disappear armor is introduced, bookends itself with Vegeta in two different sets of civvies. Do I have a point to all of this? I'm not sure. Maybe should have given him a belt to break up the giant inky blob he is. Then he would have looked like first art Goku. He would have loved that. If I had to guess, I would say that for Toriyama, no armor means no armor details to draw in. And as Bobby D's minions become indistinguishable blobs and dedicated chapter title pages become fewer and farther between, that's probably the most we can expect from this burned out artist. But you would think he could at least spring for some new gimmick, like maybe a facial tattoo or something. So that brings us to the end of the 1993 and 4 Dragon Ball Fashion Extravaganza! I hope you've enjoyed this sartorial examination of your favorite Dragon Ball characters. And I hope you've enjoyed the second installment of Dragon Ball Dissection December. Speaking of Vegeta, next time we check back in with him. And I'm sure nothing terrible or sinister is afoot there. Oh, geez. This is the moment I've been looking forward to and dreading for years. And you're probably all going to hate me. But you know you're all going to watch. Like a familiar trolley problem, you just can't look away. Just like you can't look away from this list of amazing patrons, most of whom get to see these episodes early and are probably getting to watch that episode right now. And you can't look away from liking, commenting, and subscribing. Although if you do manage to do all of those things while looking away, I'd be very impressed. So tune in next week for the next installment of Dragon Ball Dissection December. See you there!